A few years ago, I was completely lost. I had no idea what my purpose was, what God called me, and what I was born to do. I had no idea how many people and who I was supposed to help. I was completely lost. And in this video, I want to share a little bit about my testimony, my personal story, and give you guys some glow up tips on what you can do to change your life. Here are 6 things that I did to completely change my life. Number one, I had to change what I wanted. I had to change what I needed. At this point in life, a few years ago, I had no idea what I wanted my life to look like. I had no vision for my life. I was just going on with day to day work and actions without completely loving myself and loving my life. So I had to change the vision for my life. I had to adopt God's plan for my life. I had to adopt His will for my life. Many of you listening to me right now, you're going on with life just because somebody told you to do a thing. Maybe you were taught in school, maybe from elementary school, you had your mindset on a particular college or university or even career. But is that really what you're born to do? Or is it just a job or something that you want to do because someone told you to do it? I was living life to please man, to please people, to please my parents, to get the claps and the applauses of man, but I was not happy. I wasn't happy or joyful until I changed the vision for my life. You have to adopt a brand new vision, not the vision of man, but the vision of God. What is God's plan for your life? So I had to seek after His plan. I had to develop a prayer life. I had to develop a fasting life. I had to develop a life of consecration. And I had to learn how to seek the face of God for my life. And many of you are trying to fill yourself with voids and men and alcohol and weed or smoking or partying or just being extremely busy because you don't want to face some sort of reality. So I learned very quickly that if I want to change my life, if I want to change where I'm going, I have to change my present. Your future doesn't change until you change your present, your now. So where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself going? What's your dream life? What's the plan that God has for you? Because the vision over your life is God's plan and God's vehicle to bring you to where you have to be. Number two, I got from the wrong people. Your circle is the border or how far you can go. So if you are around 10 broke people, you will certainly be the 11th broke person. You have to change your circle. I was around people that was not influencing me in the right way. I was around people that I was always helping and I was always the coach but I never had stronger people in my circle that can pull me up to their dimension. See, people are portals. And whenever you want to get to another place, God will send a person. He will send someone to help you, to guide you, to coach you, to mentor you, to pull you out of where you're at to where you need to be. So if you want to change your life, if you want to change your vision, if you want to change your dreams, if you want to change your money, you have to change your connections. So you have to ask the Lord to bring favor on your life because favor is an enhancer of your value. It's an enhancer of what you already carry, which brings me to my third point. You have to know what you have. You have to know your worth. When I understood that what I had on the inside of me was a major investment, I no longer dated the wrong people, hung around the wrong people, involved myself in countless activities that does not bring value to myself. So I had to learn what I had. I had to know my worth. When you know your worth, you don't just entertain certain conversations. You don't just go anywhere. You don't just hang around anyone because you know that when you show up to the room, the atmosphere changes. When you show up to the room, your presence and brings something that was not in that atmosphere before. So you have to know your worth. Knowing your worth is speaking to yourself. It's the conversations you have with yourself. The most important conversation you have is the one you have with yourself, because conversations are portals. When Satan wanted to change and ruin the world, he had a conversation with Eve. So you have to know that if you're going to bring yourself into a new dimension, you have to have a conversation with yourself to know your worth, to encourage yourself, to affirm yourself. And this is how you're going to change your life. The next point, you have to know what you add to the world, that you are an asset. Once I realized that I wasn't just born because I was born, I wasn't just born because I'm supposed to be here and I'm just supposed to waste time and waste space. No, I was here for a divine purpose. I'm an asset to this creation. I'm an asset to the world. The world wouldn't be better if I was not here. And you have to know that about yourself. It's not being cocky, it's being confident. It's knowing what you add to the world. It's knowing what you bring to the table. So you have to learn how to discover your value and how to develop your value. You only get paid and rewarded in the marketplace based upon the value that you bring to the table. So when you know that you are a valuable individual, you will change the atmosphere of now not only the room, but the world. The world is waiting on you. The world is waiting on your gifts. The world is waiting on your vision. The world is waiting on your words. The world is waiting on what you bring. I understood that if I'm going to be something, I have to know that there is more. I had to change my mindset and my outlook. I had to get rid of scarcity mindsets. I had to get rid of poor mindsets. I had to get rid of negative mindsets and negative thoughts and negative thinking that was bringing me to a realm that I was not called to. It was bringing me and dropping me in dimensions that I wasn't called to. So I had to get rid of negative mindsets, meaning whatever was influencing my mindset, whether it's conversations, music, scrolling, wasting time, I had to get rid of it. This habit of wasting time that many of us have is not a great habit. A habit of just influencing your thoughts in negative ways, scrolling all day, wasting time when you can be doing something productive. You got to change that. And lastly, I'm going to tell you this. You got to become productive. You have to become a person of action. Don't wait for someone to open a door for you when you can be the door opener. I decided one day that my promotion and my elevation does not come from man, but it only comes from God. So while I wait for my time to come, I'm going to process well. I'm going to sit and wait, but not sit and do nothing. There is a difference between being content and being comfortable. Many of you listening to me right now, you are comfortable with where you're at, meaning you're not doing anything to get to where you want to be. But when you're content, you do everything that you have to do in the season that God has placed you in. You maximize the place where you're at until it's time for you to elevate and go to another place. What I realize is that you're not waiting on time, because time is an asset. You're waiting on your knowledge. Knowledge is the door opener to your future. Knowledge is the door opener to your next dimension. What you don't know is the reason why you're not where you want to be. You have to become a person of knowledge. You have to absorb knowledge. You have to literally become a sponge for wisdom and knowledge. You have to pray that God endows you with the spirit of wisdom and the spirit of knowledge, because when you are wise, no one can take that away from you. When you are knowledgeable, no one can take that away from you. What's stopping you is you. What's stopping you is what you don't know. What's blocking your next check and your next contract, multi-million-dollar contract, is what you don't know. You have to become, watch this, skillful and useful, because that's how you're going to change and impact others. And I'm going to say this last thing. I know I said I was going to say it before, but this is really my last thing. Impact others. Stop being selfish about what you carry. Stop being selfish about the things that you have. When I changed this mindset of it's no longer just about me, but it's about the other people, feeding the homeless, and don't do it because you want to post it on the gram and on social media so that you can get a clap and an applause. Do it because that's your heart posture. Your heart is to help others and to see others progress, to see others go up in life. When I changed my mindset from me to we, my whole entire life changed.